a time of misfortune and difficulty for the Jewish people. And it's not just in Israel, but we see that the ugly head of anti-Semitism is all around us. And the people until now who have held it in all of a sudden have revealed who they really are. And in some places in the world, it's a danger to walk around and be identified as a Jew. Throughout our history, from the time of Abraham and on, God has always been there with us. We've had many, many times of misfortune, and we've always not succumbed to it, and we've always come out maybe broken, but ready for the future.
Beruchim Abayim and welcome to Torah Talks, Chazaq's Tuesday night program with special guests. We have with us all the way from Eretz HaKodesh, Rabbi Zev Leff Shlita. Baruch haba, welcome.
Thank you.
It's a big zchut merit to have the rabbi join us and give chizuk, give some inspiration to our community about the matzah, the situation in Israel. Before we do that, if we get a little bit of background of the Rav Shlita and the great work you're involved with.
Okay, I'm presently the Rav of Moshav Matityahu in Eretz Israel for the last 40 years. Before that, I was the Rav of the Young Israel of Greater Miami in North Miami Beach. And before that, I was a Kolel Avreich in Telzer Yeshiva. And I attended that yeshiva for 9 years. And I was born in the Bronx, and I grew up in Miami and attended the Hebrew Academy and the Mesivta in Miami.
Oh, wow. Baruch Hashem. Yeshakach, thank you to the Rav for all that you do for Klal Yisrael, and a special thank you for your shiurim at Chazaq. The chizuk that we've gotten is just amazing. So we're in times of misfortune. How should one relate in these difficult times, Rabbi?
Okay, the rabbis tell us that when someone sees that suffering and misfortune is upon him, so he should investigate and see if he can improve, correct things that need correcting or improving in his spiritual life. The reason for that is that this world is not just a world of physicality, but every physical thing has spiritual energy behind it. And if something is wrong with the spiritual energy, that manifests itself in some kind of physical malady or whatever. And in order to correct the physical misfortune, you first have to work on the background spiritual causes that may be causing that physical misfortune. So the way to do it is to investigate and see if there are things that can be corrected in a person's behavior. And even if there's nothing to be corrected, if there are things that can be enhanced and improved. In addition to that, person should hone in on things that need correction and improvement, but also see maybe there are character traits, personality traits that have to be corrected because those are the things that are the roots of the other specific things that a person may be wanting to correct or improve.
Amazing. Very, very powerful and true. What can one do in these times? What would be something more specific?
Okay. We have in Israel, everybody has to make their hishtadlus, which means their effort to correct the situation physically. And we have soldiers who are putting their lives in danger to rid the world of this evil Hamas. God created a world where there's darkness and light, where there's evil and good and bad. And he did it in order that we should be able to exercise our free choice and choose light over darkness and good over evil. And in that way, we would perfect the world and bring it to its completion and earn our share in the world to come. But because we have free choice, unfortunately, there are people who choose the darkness and choose the evil. And there's always a struggle between them. So the more that one contributes to the light, the more that the darkness is reduced, and the more that one chooses to do good, the more the evil is reduced. So we have to do that in two ways. One is physically. So we have soldiers who are trying to eradicate these evil people who walk on two legs but act worse than animals. It's a disgrace to the animals to call them animals, and do things that are unmentionable and unimaginable. And so that's the physical way with tanks and with planes. But again, they need spiritual energy in order that those physical things can be successful. So even the people who are here in Chutz La'aretz, in the outside of Eretz Yisrael, can supply the soldiers who are fighting with the spiritual energy they need by doing an extra mitzvah, doing it a little bit more with intention, enhancing it with prayer, praying for these people and their success, and with doing chesed, kindnesses one to the other, donating to charity. All of those things create spiritual ammunition to be able to reduce the evil and the darkness in the world.
100%. The more good we do, no matter where we are in the world, will have a direct effect in the situation that we're living in and the times that we're in. So we have to increase in Torah, increase in mitzvot, increase in chesed and kindness and in doing good. Rabbi Leff, how can one relate to the misfortune of others? There's so many people that unfortunately they're going through difficult times. They're misplaced in their homes. How can one relate? We're not in Eretz Yisrael. We're not in Israel, let's say. What does the rabbi suggest?
Okay, it's interesting that what I said in the beginning, that when a person sees that suffering is upon him, why does it say he sees that suffering is upon him? It should say he feels it. So I think that the language haroeh, to see, refers to what it says by Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, it says, when he matured, went out to his brethren and he saw their suffering. And Rashi there says, saw means he put his eyes and his heart to suffer along with them. He didn't only sympathize with them, he empathized with them. And you need two things. You need eyes, which means intellect, and you need a heart, which means emotion. If you only intellectually can relate to other people's suffering, you may write papers about poverty, but you'll never give a penny to tzedakah. You won't help anybody. And if you only have a heart and you feel their pain, but if you don't have a mind and don't have intellect, you may do things that are harmful and not really helping, but you do it with a good feeling and a good emotion. So you need both eyes and a heart. And then you can empathize and feel the suffering of others. And you can put yourself in their place. Imagine being held, God forbid, a hostage by these animals, Hamas, or being displaced from your home, or having your parents or children killed in front of your eyes, and you're mourning for them, and your whole future has been destroyed and disrupted. So if somebody can imagine with his mind and his heart what other people are going through, then the mitzvahs and the davening will be a completely different davening, completely different viewpoint than if it's just somebody across the ocean or whatever. So I think people have to empathize with the suffering of other people also, and bring it home, and in that way be able to not only empathize with them, but do whatever we can to try to alleviate their suffering, whether it's physical, material, or spiritual.
Amazing, 100%, very, very powerful. We have a custom in Minhag and Torah Talks, and we know that the rabbi's time is very, very precious. And a final message that the rabbi could give to our broad audience at Chazaq.
Okay, like we said, it's difficult times. It's an Eis Tzara L'Yaakov. It's a time of misfortune and difficulty for the Jewish people. And it's not just in Israel, but we see that the ugly head of anti-Semitism is all around us. And the people until now who have held it in all of a sudden have revealed who they really are. And in some places in the world, it's a danger to walk around and be identified as a Jew. So it's a time of misfortune. However, it says, Umimena Yivasheya. We have to have faith and belief that as throughout our history, from the time of Abraham and on, God has always been there with us. We've had many, many times of misfortune, many times of tragedy, and we've always not succumbed to it, and we've always come out maybe broken, but ready for the future. And God will do that again. And in addition to that, if we relate to those times of misfortune properly, then that in itself, the misfortune itself, can generate a greater spiritual awakening, a greater strengthening, which itself will bring about the salvation. And God willing, we hope that what we say in our prayers on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Chol Harisha Kula Ke'asham Tichle, all the evil in the world will disappear like smoke. And then there'll be Simcha Li'artzecha, there'll be joy to our land, and Sasal Li'recha, and tremendous celebration to the city of Yerushalayim, Utzmichas Keren LeDavid Avdecha, and then the Mashiach, the Davidic dynasty will return, V'arichas ner leven yishai Mashiachecha, with the coming of Mashiach soon in our days.
Amen, amen. We should be zocher merit to see the Geulah Shtema, the complete redemption. We want to thank Rabbi Zev Leff Shlita for giving those powerful, inspiring, and uplifting words of chizuk, of inspiration for all of us. We need to, Be'ez Hashem, continue doing more good for Achenu Kol Bet Yisrael, for everyone, anyone, especially in Eretz Yisrael. We should only hear Besaroto, we should only hear good news. We want to thank the Rabbi and only have smachot and happy occasions. We want to thank everyone, one of you, for joining us every single Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Chazaq Torah Talks with special guests. We have the zchut, the merit, having Rabbi Leff, and every week we have special guests, Baruch Hashem, inspiring messages. Chazaq.org/live. Thank you to the many different podcast players for hosting our Torah Talks podcast. A special thank you to our friends at Torah Anytime, and a special thank you to Daily Giving. $1 a day goes very, very far away. And a special thank you to every single one of you involved with Chazaq. And we should, B'ezrat Hashem, like the Rabbi said, see the Geulah. We should see the final redemption, B'mirav Rinu, speaking of Amen.